I'm so pleased to have at the table Hailley Howard, who's a bi-coastal photographer, Laguna Beach, New York City, and points in between around the world. So on this show, I always like to figure out why you do what you do. When did you first pick up the camera?
I picked up the camera really early on, and it's fun because I'll see pictures that my mom kept near and dear to her, and frames and stuff that she cherishes.
So were you like 6 or 8?
She has one picture that I think of in particular, our golden retriever with, I decided to put my floaty toy around his neck, and I think I was 6 or 7 when I took that picture. So
raised in Oregon?
Between Southern California and Bend, Oregon.
Okay, so does that have, and we're going to see a lot of your photos in a second, does that have a lot of bearing on how you take your pictures? Or as a wedding photographer, fashion photographer, commercial photographer, are you told what to do, or do you get to put your own spin on it?
I think my upbringing has a lot to do with who I am and the way that I see the world around me. And I love that I'm often invited to really bring my personal flair and aesthetic and vibe energy to my shoots, but it's always really important to me that my clients are happy and that we're getting what they want and what they've seen in their minds. So I always try to be very flexible and collaborative.
Hailley, how did you have the nerve to start out and take your first client? And what did a VW van have to do with all of this?
So my ex-boyfriend and I went on a big journey around the country, and that trip was truly life-changing, and I mean that. It, in so many ways, really affected who I am, for the better. It made me more patient and more flexible.
So you traveled the whole country?
Yes. And we were cold sometimes. We didn't have music in the van. It was broken. And we didn't have heat or air.
You really were in love then.
We were. We were. And we didn't have any weather sealing. It was all stripped off the van. So
oh my gosh.
You would hear the wind with the wind. So we didn't do a stereo because there was so much wind anyway. We just dealt with it. Anyway, it was this truly incredible experience. And I'm a bit of a princess, the princess and the pea, and that trip broke that.
I would imagine it would break anybody. Yes. So the first client, when did you just decide, I'm going to go off on my own, I'm going to be a photographer?
So on that trip, I was really doing some deep soul searching, and we had a blog. We had spray painted the bumper of the van and had people watching us on Tumblr, and I was snapping away. I was using Hipstamatic at the time. Not sure
I
if you
actually
remember
liked that. Yes, I did.
So I was taking all these pictures and really just reflecting on where I was and what I was doing at the moment and how much I truly loved this camera in my hand. And people at that point had already started asking me to come to the party.
So they were following you?
Yeah, and friends would have me bring my camera to the party, and they were excited for my pictures. It just was a natural process. So, you know, I was thinking, okay, what's really speaking to me? What am I being drawn to? And I knew the answer to that question. Just scared me because I knew it was going to be a really hard road, and that a lot of people are photographers, and you know, it's very competitive. But I decided that I was really ready to take that leap, and I've never looked back since.
And it's been what, 10 years, 8 years?
That road trip was in 2011.
Okay, so this is recent. This is pretty recent.
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going around the world?
Yeah, I just got back from Austria. Started in Portugal, flew to Italy, drove up to Austria.
Were these clients, or are you just also taking in vacations and
the wedding was in Austria, and I decided to take some time for myself and make a trip out of it. And Portugal is just stunning. And I haven't in a long time taken a trip for myself, and I really wanted to. So I got the new Sony A7 III to take with me, and it's compact. It's compact, light, easy, and I knew I was going to be able to really play with there and have fun, and I'm so glad I got it for that trip.
This camera that you have with you, are you shooting some weddings with this and other commercial shoots? Or?
Yeah, this is my go-to. I'm Canon through and through. So this is the Mark IV. I also have a Mark III. And this is the 50-1.2 prime lens. And this is a go-to lens for me.
Is it heavy?
Oh, you know, you get used to it.
You get used to it.
Somebody the other day asked me if I had a holster. And I do have one, but I stopped using it because I'll just stuff it here when I'm using my other. I'll just kind of stuff things in places.
Well, you
when
get
I'm
used
shooting.
to what's right for you, right?
It's become. I've never dropped a camera doing that. It's
knock on wood.
yeah. It's become another limb.
It's you.
It's
All right,
me.
let's start looking at pictures because we've been
Okay.
talking about it. Oh, and you'll go through and you'll. Okay, this I thought was awesome. What's going on here?
So I have been lucky enough to teach at a photography/creative retreat for the last few years, and I will also be teaching coming up again in
Where is that now?
February.
You're based in Laguna Beach.
Yeah, so this, historically speaking, has been held in Santa Barbara at El Capitan. But
Oh, how horrible.
I know, terrible. But now they're going to be in Marfa, and I'm very excited. So this class was all about shooting on the fly and not overly planning something so that you leave room for your inspiration.
To capture something that you see.
Yes, and so that the shadow on her was I used the purse that I had got to style this shoot to create that shadowing. So I was trying to show my students that you can use your environment around you to make beautiful effects in camera. So this isn't post-produced in any kind of way.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
Besides being black and white. But yeah, it's really important for me to remind people to play. Keep playing, keep inspiring yourself, and using the world around you.
And also, yes, use the world around you. All right, we're going to go to the next picture. And that is also, the color in this is fantastic.
I love this picture. It feels very Hitchcock-esque to me. And so this was recent. This is a very recent shoot for a jewelry company out of San Diego. She's amazing, Marrow Fine. She does beautiful, this was for her all diamond collection, but she does all sorts of different stones, mostly in the wedding and luxury side of things. So this was titled Retrograde.
A lot of editing on this or no?
Color manipulation. So, and I have some things that I do to kind of give it that.
Don't give away your secrets.
Oh, I'll share. It's fine. I'll happily share. I like a vintage aesthetic, so I actually will reduce the clarity and manipulate the highlights so that there's kind of a glow. It's almost cinematic. And this was also lit by a company that's currently sponsoring me, and I shot the person who owns that company. I shot his wedding this weekend.
You're doing very well. So you do commercial, you do fashion, you do weddings. Lots of folks just find their niche in weddings, and
Yes.
that's good enough. You're all over the map. You like that?
Yeah, I haven't followed a strict path that
Don't.
many other people have. I definitely march to the beat of my own drum, and I've complicated my life with not having a niche. And I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off all the time. But I'm just so passionate through and through about what I do that I somehow find the energy to keep going all the time. And I probably only get paid for 20 or 30% of the work and photos that I'm producing, because a lot of times it's personal work, photo shoots that I'm just inspired to do. So, it's really important. If you love something, you have to make it yours.
Yeah, you're just following your passion.
Yeah.
Have you ever, we're going to go to more pictures now and starting into some wedding shots. Have you ever said no to somebody that you just know the bride or the family is not going to work for you, and you have enough work that you can say no?
I think it's very important to be, again, I'm using this word, flexible. You're not going to like every client. And I like the challenge sometimes.
Okay.
I've definitely had some clients where maybe there was a challenge that I think, in retrospect, I should have listened to my gut. but that's so rare. And I look at all those experiences as learning lessons.
Yeah, you'll learn as you go.
Yeah.
Now this, you just found a mirror and showcased the bridal gown.
I use mirrors a lot. I have a very clean aesthetic, so I'll use mirrors and reflections and foreground haze to frame something in focus when there's a distraction or something that I don't love. So in this shot, I needed space to be able to get the frame that I wanted, and this mirror, so shooting into that reflection, gave me that distance that I needed.
You're working fast and you're editing with your eye.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing. Another picture of the bride who's holding, this is just simplistic and gorgeous.
Yeah, this was last December in the city, or in Brooklyn rather, and this bride, she was just so sweet. The couple was just so in love and they were so happy. It was so frigid. She ended up getting bronchitis.
Oh,
she woke up
no.
sick the next day because it was really cold. But she just, you know, she kept going and they were happy and had a beautiful day. And yeah, this was really fun with that cobblestone and Dumbo.
The next picture is something that I've seen in your work. There's a lot of headroom going on here. And I haven't seen that before, and I like that because you're taking in what's, I don't know what that background is. Is it an old building?
Yeah, this is in San Juan Capistrano, famous for the old mission there. So this is that property, and you have to get approval to bring a professional camera in.
Really?
And they were so sweet. They took a lot of time with me. Their picture, they really wanted to have time. And so they planned their time with me for their pictures. Because some couples don't really leave a big window. I'll get 5 or 10 minutes with them.
Really?
And then other people really want to make sure that they capture that magic and have time. So this was actually very hot. This day was painfully hot. And this is midday sun, so it was just beating
So
down.
it was 100 degrees or something, or felt like it anyway.
I think it actually was. And he was such a champ in his suit, just melting. So this is great because we have our open shade here. So we're blocked from the sun for light reasons and for the heat. So, you know, I use different things to inspire me on the fly.
You also like trees, I've seen in some of your work, and the next one is that. Again, there's a lot of headroom, but it's very interesting.
I definitely want to tell a story with my pictures, and I want you to feel something when you look at my photos.
You're telling a story.
Yeah, and providing atmosphere tells that story. If you're too tight in, which is great, it has its time and place to have a tight portrait, but you really get an essence of something here, and it's very fairy tale like to let that light in and let the whole scene
similar.
in.
What's the story behind this?
This was actually a styled shoot with this really incredible florist. Every material she uses is biodegradable and organic.
California?
She just relocated to Oregon, so this was in Oregon. And when we first met, we didn't realize that we had Oregon as a connection. And so we ended up planning this styled shoot up there, and she pulled everything together. She casted for the bride and groom, did the dresses, the rings, everything. So this was beautiful. We hiked into this waterfall, and this couple, fake couple, but our models here, they were so willing and ready to go into the moss and into the water, basically, for this photo.
It's very neat. The next series or 2 pictures, what are you superimposing things on top of each other?
So this, I don't like to manipulate too much. I like to be very authentic with my imagery. So this is an in-camera double exposure, and so you have to be very specific. It's hard to know sometimes to foresee how the light of one picture is going to overlay on top of the other. So yes, this is 2 images put together in camera.
And the second one is
The same
similar
thing.
to that?
Yes.
And then let's go to the next series. This is a lot of headroom shots. This is stunning.
Thank you.
And there's a tiny couple, excuse me, right in the middle. And sky and ocean. Where was this, California?
This was in Laguna Beach.
Okay.
And a lot of these pictures, I was looking through them and realizing that most of them have a really intimate story. So the groom in this picture, I went to high school with him. And when we were friends, and I ran into him right after he got engaged, and I was just so, my heart was so warmed that they wanted me to capture their day.
And this is familiar because this is my daughter and my new husband. The sky was interesting that day. It was supposed to be sunny. It was not.
It was not.
It was cloudy. But I kind of like it.
It's perfect. It's ideal lighting. You know, you don't have harsh light and then harsh shadows coming in at the middle of the day, because this was midday. This was their first look. So this, you know, you don't get that golden, warm glow that you would get from sunlight later in the day with lighting like this, but you get a technically perfect image where you're not blown out or losing information in shadows. So, you know, it's a give and a take. And I'm never disappointed on a cloudy day, even though I know it may be disappointing for a wedding without that warmth, but I think it's really moody and really romantic.
And I agree with you. Now, I love palm trees, and so I picked this out. This is so simple, but awesome. And again, it's California?
Yes, so this is also Laguna Beach. This is on the Montage Resort property. And I've shot these palm trees so many times. I just love them. They're so cute.
It's just a pair of them, and they sit there.
Yes, I love palm trees.
I do too.
They're very sweet and interesting, lovely tree. They just, you know, they make you feel good.
I get it. Next one is just beautiful.
So this was also Laguna Beach, and just right down from my house, actually. I live a block from the water.
Well, that's just horrible. I feel bad for you, Hailley. The next one. Now, I read about this one. This is a double rainbow, and you just missed a lightning bolt in this as well?
Yes. I was pretty disappointed that I missed it, but happy that I got the rainbow. And we actually had to hold back on the ceremony because the rain came, and it just opened up and poured down, and nobody was prepared for the rain. And it was really special because just in the nick of time, right before we lost all the light, it dried up enough.
It's spectacular.
It was a really beautiful wedding.
The next one is another very simplistic, just a tiny sliver of a moon. Mm-hmm. This must have been near your house as well?
Yes, it was.
I have to come there because it seems idyllic.
Please come.
And then the final one is interesting. There's smoke on a desert?
So this is one of my best friends. This is her family's property. It's been in the family for, I don't know, maybe hundreds of years on the Oregon coast.
Wow.
So private property, I was able to do what I wanted. So this is a smoke bomb. And this is one of my favorite pictures. I actually have this hanging in my bedroom. It's just really powerful and emotive with the pure sand and that touch of pink. I just like music. Art should make you feel something, and I want my pictures to make people feel things.
How would you describe your work if you had to say a paragraph or a sentence or two?
I was thinking of this earlier. Elegant, enigmatic, and authentic.
And that's why you're being hired from around the world. Does it drive you crazy if somebody copies your work or steals your work?
Well, steal, yes.
And that happens all the time, right?
Yeah, on different levels. Even if it's on Instagram, someone not asking if they can use something.
Or not giving you credit.
Or posting it without credit, or sometimes posting it with the wrong credit. That's always frustrating. And then it's kind of, it's a kick in the gut when someone wants to purchase something, wants to purchase a print, and you send them pricing or you work with them on something, and they're not willing.
Well, they don't get art.
Yeah.
They think what's mass produced and what's the big deal, and they don't get art.
And nowadays with cameras, digital media is so cheap. So people don't really understand all the heart and all the time and energy that it takes to really create an artful image.
Going forward, you've not been at it this long. Where do you foresee yourself in 5 years? I mean, you're going to have to completely reinvent yourself all the time with iPhones getting better and better, but it's still not art. People will take iPhone pictures and it's not centered, or they don't know how to manipulate it. Will there always be room for somebody like you doing what you do?
I hope so.
Yes. And do you sell your stuff?
Yes, I do. I've found, because I'm not a niche photographer, I'm all over the place, I found that sometimes when I print stuff and have it on hand, there's so much I'd love to print, but it just sits there. And I don't really have the right place to sell it.
Right.
So really anything's for sale if somebody wants it. And I would love to be in a gallery one day. And I actually am working on a project with my friends right now, and we hope people are excited by it and want to purchase our coffee table book once we're finished with it.
Okay, well, let me know about that.
Yes.
Now, you're based in Laguna Beach. Is most of your work on the East Coast?
90% of my weddings are on the East Coast.
Why are you not living on the East Coast? Because of the pictures that we saw of your home in Laguna Beach?
A lot of people ask me that question, and a lot of my friends are really laying on the thick guilt tripping, but I need to be out here.
Connecticut's a great place. We would love to have you here.
I love the East Coast, and I feel so welcomed and embraced by the culture and the people here. I really, it feels like home, socially speaking, but there is something about the deva, the energy of where, if I close my eyes and just feel where I am in Laguna Beach, it's just so warm and special to me. But you can...
Well, we're going to have to bring you along the shoreline in Connecticut and feel that vibe a lot more.
Yeah.
It's great.
There's all sorts of homes.
Yes.
You know, you can find home anywhere.
Hailley, thank you so much for coming on. Your work is spectacular, and keep going, and you've got a perfect eye for what you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Spend all night kissing and the bump is right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm as a wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Need to keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. Skip right ahead to the last ride.